I'm delighted to be here and to see all of you today. And this is just a great event, National Animal Rights Day here in New York City. So it's an honor to be here. And it's deeply moving to be part of this memorial for all of the animals who live and die without our ever even knowing that they're there. But fortunately, those of us in the animal advocacy, animal liberation, animal rights movement are aware of their existence every single minute of every single day. I founded United Poultry Concerns in Maryland as a national nonprofit organization 26 years ago in 1990. And so back in those days, in the late 1980s and early 90s, people in the animal rights movement suggested to me that I would never be able to sustain an organization that focused on chickens and turkeys, and that we would never make it. We would never fly. And yet here we are 26 years ago, a very successful national organization promoting the compassionate and respectful compassionate, respectful treatment of chickens, turkeys, ducks, and other domestic fowl. We promote a vegan diet and lifestyle, an ethical vegan diet and lifestyle. So every year I speak at the Veggie Pride Parade, and I know that many of you are part of the annual Veggie Pride Parade in March, so I hope you'll all be there again this coming year. So here I'll just make a few remarks. One of the many programs of United Poultry Concerns is a sanctuary that we run in a rural part of Virginia. We are located in one of the largest chicken producing areas of the country, where at any given time, 500 million chickens are locked up in filthy factory farm sheds. And on a day like today, particularly, when it's so hot and so muggy and so uncomfortable for, I think, most of us, I wish I could evoke for you and for everybody in the world how much more horrible it is for all of these birds who are in this sweltering heat, breathing pure pollution for their entire lives. I don't think anybody who has not been in a standard industrial farming, animal farming operation can even begin to imagine the horror of those environments for those birds. I always tell people that chickens come from the tropical forests of Southeast Asia and the foothills of the Himalayan mountains, where to this day their wild contemporary relatives are living with one single uttermost threat, which happens to be human activity, erosion of the tropical forests where they live. So I have to clarify too the fact that chickens are far and away the largest number of abused land animals on the planet. And when we hear that something like 9 billion animals are being raised and slaughtered for food each year in the United States alone, remember that 9 out of 10 billion animals are chickens. They're the 99%. And they're living, again, in just a world of such filth that even today, thinking about how miserable they are in those houses where you can barely breathe in those houses. If you feel slightly nauseated out in this weather today, if you walk into those houses, you just immediately feel very, very sick in your stomach, your eyes burn, your throat burns, and yet you can walk away, but the birds can never walk away. So I want to tell you a story about a chicken who didn't walk away from one of those horrible houses, but who fell off a truck in Virginia going across the very, very busy Chesapeake Bay Tunnel Bridge that links the peninsula where we're located to the mainland of Virginia, that is Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and that whole area. And it just so happened that a month ago on a Friday evening, a woman and her husband were driving across that very busy bridge, and lo and behold, there was a chicken, a Purdue Tyson type of chicken, standing there in the road, right next to where the cars and trucks were whizzing by that evening. And so the woman, Kathy, and her husband, Tom, had to go back. It's a 22-mile bridge, so they had to get across the bridge. Then they had to go back again and hope that the chicken would still be there and not have been run over by a car or a truck or whatever. And they got back, and lo and behold, the chicken was just standing there, totally traumatized, and God knows how she felt. But anyway, they were able to rescue her. And they did a quick search on Google and discovered that 20 minutes away was our organization. So she quickly called me that evening and said, you know, we found this chicken, and do you think you could please give her a home? So I was actually going out of town the very next day to speak at the National Animal Rights Day in Washington, D.C. So I said, well, I won't be here Saturday morning, but our sanctuary helper will be here, and she will welcome the chicken. Well, very quickly, this chicken, like all of the Purdue Tyson type chickens who are bred for the meat industry, couldn't even stand up, was totally immobilized, must have weighed at least 5 pounds, even though she was barely a month old. And for about a week, I was sure that we were going to have to take this bird to our veterinarian and have her euthanized. And then, lo and behold, one day she started to stand up. And then gradually she started to walk around. And I thought she was really going to make it. For about a week she was doing so well, and she loved to have her throat stroked and have her beak stroked, and she would stand by me when I'd be at the kitchen sink or at the stove, and she's just such a loving chicken. And then one Saturday morning, 2 weekends ago, lo and behold, she couldn't get up again. So I thought, this is the end, you know, her body is too heavy for her bones, and she's not going to be able to walk anymore, which she was so enjoying. And then another miracle happened. She started to walk again, and we put her on an anti-pain medication to see if that could help her to feel better, because these birds are all in pain because they're forced to grow to be so heavy in such a short amount of time. So here she is now, walking all over the place. The pain medication has made a big difference to her, and also showed that she was in pain, even though she's just a baby. And so I can't wait to get home tomorrow and see her. Her name is Riva, expressing the view that she was buried alive, but she came back from the dead. So this is the kind of a world for chickens that they are meant to have. A mother hen with her chicks, and there should be a rooster there too. We have 7 roosters at our sanctuary, and many rescued hens as well. And this is the world that we all here today want chickens to have. And we want all animals to be reunited with their families, and to be reunited with the environment that they are meant to live in, and to breathe fresh air, and to have the kind of a life that every creature on earth deserves to have. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for your attention. Please go vegan. Give a cluck, go vegan, for yourselves, for the animals, and for this earth. Thank you so much.